Welcome to Vator Reports. I'm Bambi Francisco.
And I'm Peter Thiel.
On this show, we're going to talk about the media industry and how the Internet has turned the media industry on its head. I should know because I have been a journalist for more than 15 years, so this is a fun topic for me to talk about, Peter.
It does seem to be on a lot of people's minds, in the media industry in particular.
Yeah, well, it's...
Talking to a lot of the people I know in that industry, it's something that's sort of it's much more of a theme now than it was in 99, 2000.
Well, I think probably the biggest reason is because advertising dollars, although surprisingly, aren't leaving the networks too much. In fact, there's actually advertising dollars that went to cable as well as TV networks actually rose, single percentage points, but it actually rose surprisingly. I thought it would be declining.
But there is a sense that maybe it's just going to hit a wall some point where just all the advertisers leave en masse or something like that. That's the worry. I mean, the subscriptions and the viewers are sort of slowly grinding lower for a lot of these old media companies. The advertisers have basically been holding firm, but the worry is that maybe at some point they just figure out, wow, it's so much cheaper, and you can reach so many more people on the Internet.
Right. I think the big question is, will newspapers be around in 40 years? I actually think they will be, because media never dies, actually. But a lot of people always write about that, whether we've seen the death of newspapers, at least in 40 years. What do you think?
I think they'll be around, too. But, you know, I'm not so sure. I'm not totally sure anymore. You know, it's just, you know, looking at the Wall Street Journal and New York Times, they're just getting smaller and smaller. And it's really quite strange. And you would think those would be the ones that will be like the last to go.
AdInfuse and Aptera are focusing on advertising solutions for the mobile phone.
The AdInfuse is in the business of delivering personalized ads to mobile phones and network-enabled media players. That's basically the business that we're in.
We provide technology for mobile advertising, search, and commerce.
I know there are, 5 times more, I don't know how many millions more mobile phones there are than PCs, but it just seems a little bit too early. And one of the things one of the products that I think might be sort of the, mobile savior is the Apple iPhone, which comes out this summer. And maybe when the Apple iPhone comes out, then, the whole mobile Internet economy will flourish.
Yeah, it definitely is one of the things that was predicted to happen a lot sooner than it has. You know, I remember in 1999, at the peak of the tech boom of the 90s, you had all these people leaving Ericsson in Sweden and starting mobile phone applications companies, and it turned out there was just not enough you could do on a cell phone and it was too cumbersome to use, and they just couldn't get any traction. Now, you know, there definitely are parts of it that are working a lot better than they were back then. I don't know. You know, I think if the mobile Internet's here, maybe you can do advertising at about the same time when it comes along and figure out, are there things that are targeted people can opt into. There may be different models for it that it might make sense to start thinking about.
I think the Apple iPhone is actually going to help people, drive more people to the Internet and make us look at the mobile device a little bit differently and maybe even interact with it a little bit more. And I think at that point, maybe advertising will make sense on the mobile device. Well, let's talk about the economics of the media industry and how that has totally changed. I mean, I'll give you an example of one economic, or the economics that's changing. It's in the production of the content. Topics.net, 30% of the content on Topics.net is user submitted. That's free. They don't really have to pay writers, journalists, to provide that content.
Obviously, Wikipedia versus Encyclopedia Britannica.
So the economics has totally changed, and I'm not quite sure traditional media has caught up with those economics yet.
There are a lot of reasons traditional media has been very far behind the curve. One is just they're based in New York, and a lot of this is happening in Silicon Valley, and so they don't talk to the people who are doing this every single day. They read about it. They see about it peripherally. If the big media companies were based here in Northern California, I think they'd be quite a bit more worried.
What do you think of just how people are going to consume media?
I would tend to think that it's basically going to be more on the PC, more on the cell phone and less on the television. And what you're just going to see is a relentless extrapolation of current trends. I think at this point it's people age 28 and under spend more time watching, being on the internet than they do watching television. I think you're going to see that age relentlessly creep higher and higher. People in their 50s still spend more time watching television than they're on the internet. I think that will change over the next 10 years.
Well, thanks for tuning in. Before we let you go, we're going to show you the top-rated videos as voted by the Vator community.
Sightspeed's already won awards for having the best video quality in the past, but now with Sightspeed 5.0, it's even better. So you can call your in-laws and see them more clearly.
Prosper really operates as effectively an eBay for money. So we conduct auctions between the owners of money, lenders, and the American with $50, and the buyers of money, so borrowers who are looking to get loans.
Essentially, you can go to our website, and it's like an eBay for microfinance. What you can do is you can pick an entrepreneur who's living in poverty in 32 developing countries, so Guatemala or India or Uganda, and you can basically provide them a loan, not a donation, but a loan to help finance their business.
Open Balls is a wine social network that unites wine consumers and wineries through a shared passion of wine. We allow consumers to share and exchange information and reviews about their favorite wines and wineries.